Hello, this is David William Weissner, and this is another episode of David Speaks. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about LSD, acid, and my experiences with LSD, and how it destroyed most of my life. LSD has been around for a while. It's a synthetically made drug. In the 60s, in the beginning of the 60s, it was legal. And a lot of people experimented on it. And then it became against the law eventually. I first did LSD when I was 19 with my friends. We were heavy pot smokers at the time. And I just figured, well, let's try this. And it was just experimental. And for the summer that I was 19, I did LSD approximately 10 times, maybe more, over the course of the summer. And I never had a bad trip. Although the last 40 years of my life, because of LSD, you could look at a lot of it as a bad trip. Because my life's been fucked up really bad by LSD. There were certain benefits. Like anything, things could be good and bad. And no, this is a terrible drug. And it did open me up to certain spiritual ideas and led me to different ways of looking at things. It turned me on to like a quest for spirituality and God, and to many books that I read after that that changed me. But mostly what it did is make me insane. It brought out in me the disease of bipolar disorder, which has been tormenting me my whole life to this very day. So, as a 19-year-old student, my friends and I decided to do acid. Some of them had experimented before, some hadn't, and I did see different things, hallucinations or voices, all kinds of strange things. Not anything atypical, really, for an LSD trip. It's a hallucinogenic drug. We did mushrooms too that summer, sometimes together. And by the end of the summer, I didn't need the LSD anymore. I was hallucinating just fine by myself. Everything I looked at, people, trees, lights, cars, everything had like a glow to it. People's eyes were sending beams of light out at me. It was some laser show, let me tell you. And it pushed me into my first of many manic episodes in my life. And then I went to college for one term at SUNY Buffalo. I didn't know it was only going to be one term, but thanks to acid, that's all it was. It was one term in SUNY Buffalo, State University of New York. And I was completely manic up there. I was hallucinating. I was psychotic. I was delusional. I was thinking all kinds of crazy things. And I was trying to go to school. Everyone else around me was having fun and being serious and being students. And I was into a lot of drugs at school, especially drinking heavily. And I dropped out of school after like 2 or 3 weeks out of classes, but I stayed in the dorms. And I became paranoid. Then my form of bipolar disorder also had with it the affliction of SAD, seasonal affective disorder. So what would happen with me is when I would experience depression was always in the winter and mania always in the spring and summer. So I would cycle back and forth with the seasons. And it was just horrible. SUNY Buffalo, in Buffalo, it's very bad weather up there in the winter. Winter starts early. It started to snow. I started to get depressed, paranoid. I was just smoking pot and hiding in my bed all day. I didn't want to see people. I was afraid of people. And then I would roam at night when everyone was sleeping. I had friends. I did have make some good friends up there for the time being. And of course, they were all into drugs and alcohol like me. The depression was worse than anything. There was a lake outside my window, my dorm window. And I used to just think of just tying bricks to my legs and jumping in the lake and drowning myself. I wanted to die at 19 because I had bipolar disorder. Many people with that disease kill themselves, especially in the past before there were any drugs like we have now, modern drugs to help with those those diseases of bipolar disorder and depression and sad. A lot of people kill themselves over this. Like Vincent van Gogh was probably the most famous mental patient in the world. You know, they didn't have drugs for Van Gogh. He was bipolar. He shot himself in the heart. And then he told his brother Theo, it took him 2 days to die. I can't even do that right, he thought, or he said. When I got home from school after one term, I thought my life was over at 19. At 19. I thought everything was done for me. I'd failed at school, I'd failed with everything. And I tried to kill myself in my house, at home, in Staten Island, by turning the pilot light off, blowing the pilot light out in an oven, and turning on the gas high and crawling in, and trying to breathe in the gas, breathe in the gas. It didn't work, obviously, and it doesn't work, I don't think. I don't know how half-hearted of an attempt it was, but I never told anyone. I just went on with my life, smoking weed every day, and I didn't do any acid after that. Not purposely, anyway. When I was 24, someone dosed me with 4 hits of acid, but beside that, I never did it again purposely. But let me tell you something. That acid still lingers in my life today. Okay? For so many years, I have been spiraling in and out of mania and depression. I've had some good years. I did go back to school from 25 to 29. I graduated very highly with great grades with a degree in sociology from the College of Staten Island, City University of New York. I had good times in between the episodes. I don't want you to think my life was hard, and I've written a book called Bipolar Disorder Through My Eyes, a memoir of hope. It's available through Amazon. If you go on your Amazon search, just put David William Weissner in. You can find the book if you want to hear the real story of my life and everything I've been through. I've lived a hard life, and I don't know what my life would have been like if I didn't do that acid. It could have been completely different. I'm 55 years old. I've had to work part-time jobs my whole life that I created myself mostly because of my mania. I went on a mad run to Florida when I was 20, and I got in trouble because I was manic, and I got arrested for going into a hotel room and trying to get a good night's sleep because I was sleeping on the beach. I had no food, I had no water. And they charged me with 3 counts of burglary, felony burglaries. And it was Florida. And they said to my mother, they said, we don't care if he's crazy. We just lock him up in Florida. And they did. They locked me up. And eventually I served probation for 18 months. I copped a guilty plea to 1 count of burglary, which is a felony. Now, that was at 20. So this felony has stayed on my record. It doesn't come off. Which means I was never able to get a real job in like a real corporation or for the school system. I had jobs. I worked as a part-time aide, recreational aide at Island Shores Senior Residence in Staten Island. I worked there for a couple of years. I really enjoyed it. The people enjoyed my company. I helped out. It was a very positive experience. And then I became horribly depressed again, and I had to leave the job. I also had my own business, part-time business. I taught music. I taught children how to play guitar or piano. I worked for Staten Island Music School for a couple of years, teaching piano there. These were all very positive experiences, but once again, the specter of bipolar disorder took it away from me. I was living a good life for a bunch of years in my 30s. Then I became manic and psychotic. I lost my jobs. I quit my jobs. I moved. I became homeless. I went to jail. I was beaten up on the beaches. I was shot at in California and Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's been like that. It's been a wheel, for real. That's been my life. I'm not saying I haven't had good times. I've had some wonderful girlfriends. I was married for a time. It didn't work out. I've had wonderful friends. Um, I have a wonderful family that sticks by me, especially my mother. But I never got to live a normal life. What would I have done if I never took that acid and never became bipolar? I could have been a college professor. I could have done so many things with my mind. I was blessed with a sharp mind and many talents, thanks to God. Don't do LSD. I'm telling you, it fucked up my life. I'm 55. It is still fucking up my life in major ways. I just had an episode last year. It hasn't gone away. Thanks, thanks to going on more medication and therapy and coming home, I'm better again. Now I have a clear path. But to what, I don't know. As far as the illness, it can come back. Depression comes, mania comes, life events cause these things. It's very hard for a person with mental illness like me to fend off life's atrocities, death, all kinds of things like that. So here I sit at 55, not knowing what's going to happen. LSD destroyed my ability to have a normal life. Don't let this happen to you or a friend or a relative. Don't believe this bullshit that LSD is some mind altering. I mean, it is mind altering. Don't believe this bullshit that is some kind of spiritual trip to become a better person. It isn't. It is bullshit. It is the worst thing you could do for yourself. Please protect yourself from drugs. I wish I could just get this message out to everyone. I don't want you to have to suffer what I've suffered. All right. Bless you all. Thank you. Good night.